The 2022 EPCOT International Food and Wine Festival has begun, and our team has eaten our way through the 25 plus food booths that opened on July 14th to bring you the best of the fest picks, top eats, and everything you can't miss at this epic celebration of food in Disney World. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. Now, the DFB team has been gearing up for this festival for months, as always, and it's time for you to benefit from our hard work to get the cheat codes for this year's EPCOT Food and Wine Festival. Is that new French fry booth worth a stop? Does Italy finally have a best of the fest dish? Will France continue to trample the competition with wine slushes and melty cheese? The festival runs until November 19th this year, so you have a long time to find out the answers for yourself, or you can stay tuned because we're about to give you all the info right now. We've got all the top festival eats coming up, but if you want to see our full coverage of even the not so great dishes that didn't make this list, head to disneyfoodblog.com to see full food reviews of every single dish. But now it's time for the best of the fest. We're going to start at the brand new French fry basket booth. Here we were seriously impressed by the adobo yuca fries with garlic cilantro aioli. This was actually our favorite thing at the fry basket booth. Perfectly crunchy with a flavor that our reporters described as Texas toast garlic bread in French fry form, okay? Plus, that sauce added a fantastic tangy flavor. These were phenomenal. If you only buy one thing at Fry Basket, don't miss out on these. Now, we've had a lot of poutine creations at Epcot's festivals in the past, but we're sure glad this version, which debuted at the 2021 Food and Wine Festival, has returned for 2022. The braised beef poutine at Refreshment Port, hosted by Boursin Cheese, is a big portion size full of hearty flavors. Fresh French fries are topped with Boursin garlic and fine herbs cheese sauce, which in and of itself is incredible, cheese curds, and gherkin relish. The fry to topping ratio was perfect this year. Definitely one to check out again. Another item that was new in 2021 and has returned this year is the Strawberry Rose Mimosa at the France booth. The drink is made with Paul Remy sparkling wine, orange juice, and Monin strawberry rose syrup. This drink has that perfect balance of being sophisticated but also simple and refreshing. Now, get ready, folks. A plant-based dish is making it onto the full Best of the Fest list. Not an honorable mention for our vegan friends. This is certified delicious from our reporters who typically eat meatballs. These impossible meatballs come with herbed polenta, rustic puttanesca sauce, and basil pesto. They were incredibly tasty even for our reporters who are regular meat eaters. And while it's clearly impossible meat as opposed to regular meat, the basil pesto sauce was awesome and the polenta was delicious, even if it wasn't the best polenta we've ever had. Overall, there were some big flavors in this dish, and we really enjoyed them. Now, year after year, the Canada booth delivers and offers a great snack-sized alternative if you couldn't score that Le Cellier reservation for this trip. For $9.25, you get what is a pretty small filet, but trust us when we say it is always done very, very well. And by that, I mean good. I don't mean like overdone. The filet is delicious. It was so soft and easy to cut, very tender, even with plastic cutlery, and paired fantastically with that amazing truffle butter sauce. The mushrooms are great as well, so don't let them deter you if you're not a huge mushroom fan. Just add them in. I'm not a huge mushroom fan either. They make me feel like I'm eating flesh. But listen, this is one of those times to include them in your bite. And sticking with Canada, the Canadian cheddar cheese and bacon soup back on the Best of the Fest. This is popular for a reason. Even if it's the middle of a 100-degree day, because it was today a 100-degree day, you still want to eat this warm cheese soup because why? It's warm cheese bacon soup and it's so good. It's a staple dish of the festival, truly the stuff of legends. There's such a delicious flavor that comes from the soup itself, and when you dunk your pretzel roll into it, it's a match made in heaven. Hot soup on an extremely hot Florida day is a questionable choice, but even in the middle of July, it is worth it. Now, here's a little tip for you. I just ate at Biergarten the other night over in Germany in Epcot, and they have a really, really good beer cheese soup there too, so just a heads up. When you can't get into Le Cellier, go to Biergarten. Also giving a little shout out to Gregor, who is my server there, who is awesome, and he watches the channel. So Gregor, hope you get to wear those lederhosen. Okay. Next up on our list is feijoada from Brazil. Well, we saw a version of this dish back in 2011. That's right, a million years ago, we were still doing this. Things have changed. That old version, just all right. This new one, a total flavor explosion. The dish featured crispy pork belly, Brazil nut pesto, and Ben's original long grain white rice, as well as black beans. It was all incredibly well seasoned, full of garlic, onion, basil, and other spices. The pork belly melted in our mouths and the rice was cooked perfectly. Tastes just like a dish that was really well thought out, and it's one we would recommend you try, especially to get a feel for those more authentic Brazilian flavors. Moving on to some coffee, it's time for the Mocha Madness. So if you're looking for a caffeine pick-me-up that wins Best of the Fest seal of approval, swing by the Joffrey's kiosk near the American Adventure for the Mocha Madness. This drink is made with a sweet frozen cappuccino blended with chocolate syrup and can be made alcoholic or non-alcoholic. The cappuccino was deliciously strong and the rich, real chocolate flavor just lingered on your tongue afterwards. It was one of the best cappuccino frozen drinks we've had in a long time. Now remember, you can't pick this up at just any Joffrey's location in EPCOT. This was the one at the American Adventure. There are 3 others that are located at other Joffrey's kiosks around EPCOT. This one's only featured at American Adventure. Now, they finally did it. After several festivals featuring disappointing dishes at Italy's booth, they finally managed to wow us with a brand new dish. Well, wow is a little strong, but let us explain. This is the gnocchi de patate potato dumplings with 4 cheese sauce and roasted cremini mushrooms. The 4 cheese sauce was what made this a winner. The gnocchi was cooked well, nice and chewy, and the mushrooms were fantastic with a slightly garlicky flavor. So this was cheesy, garlicky, and delicious. Basically, it's an incredible sort of Alfredo sauce going on here. Now, for me, this is a best of the fest, not because it's a difficult dish to accomplish, but I think it's going to be something that most everyone is going to enjoy. So this is a situation where you can go with lots of different palates and they'll be happy with the Italy booth because it's just decent pasta. And of course that incredible Italian margherita, which is literally my favorite. Okay, moving on to Japan. The teriyaki chicken bun made it onto the Best of the Fest list this year. This is a steamed bun filled with chicken, vegetables, and teriyaki sauce. And the teriyaki chicken bun is something that has made our Best of the Fest in the past. Last year, it was a Best of the Fest item for kids, and this year we're putting it back in the main picks. The chicken was cut up perfectly nice and small, so they aren't difficult to get through. Pair that with the sweet teriyaki sauce and the light and fluffy bun, and you've got a delicious item that just about everybody can enjoy. It does have a bit more bread than filling, so maybe don't consider this your full meal, more of a snack, but it's still a great choice for adults and kids alike. So similar situation to that Italy gnocchi, right? Is it the perfect expression of this particular dish? Probably not. Is everyone probably gonna like it enough to make it worth the money? Yeah. Okay, next we're going to talk about that spanakopita from Greece. The griddled cheese was the Best of the Fest pick last year from the Greece booth, but this year it's the spanakopita that stood out to us. Though simple, this Greek spinach pie delivered on flavor, and the cheese was slightly sour, but paired perfectly with the spinach in a combo of ooey gooey deliciousness. Now, the Greece booth was on the struggle bus today. It took them a very long time to open. I don't think they opened till about 5 o'clock p.m., but when they did, we were sure glad. Because sometimes simple and tasty is all you need, and this is it. From Greece, we're heading back to mainland Europe and we're going to go to the Alps with the warm raclette Swiss cheese with alpine ham, baby potatoes, cornichons, and baguette. Now, this is a returning dish that's covered in melty cheese, so what more do you want? Seriously though, the cheese here was amazing. The ham added a lovely smoky flavor. Everything was cooked so well. The bread was a little dry, but the delicious cheese made up for it. Now, there's other raclette versions this year. There's almost like a dessert raclette as well, which you gotta try them all. I would say go ahead and get all of the raclettes if you have the stomach for it, for all that cheese. Okay, next we're going to move on to a little dessert and the mini pina colada funnel cake from the funnel cake stand. We hold these little festival funnel cakes to a pretty high standard after we've been blown away year after year. Well, there are a couple duds in there. Everyone has their off days. But the mini pina colada funnel cake has landed as one of the best festival funnel cakes we've had thus far. Served with pina colada ice cream, whipped cream, toasted coconut, and maraschino cherry, it was drizzled with coconut rum sauce, and it's an item we wish Disney would keep around all year long. Believe us when we say this is one you don't want to miss. And if you're still in a dessert mood, the guava mousse is where it's at. This is a guava mousse on a sugar cookie with coconut lime whipped cream. The guava flavor here was pretty dominant and made the treat really sweet tart, but it also had a great tropical flavor. Though we would have loved more lime in the whipped cream, we did think the coconut flakes were a nice touch, adding a little bit of that sweetness. Overall, it was a delicious dessert with a crumbly sugar cookie bottom to balance out the textures of the mousse, and was one of the best desserts we had all day. And it's even plant-based. But if you're looking for a more robust mimosa experience, then stick around at Shimmering Sips, hosted by Corksicle. The Pog Juice Mimosa, made with sparkling wine and Minute Maid passion fruit orange and guava juice, was sweet and delicious. And the Key Lime Mimosa, made with key lime sparkling wine and cranberry juice, was mostly champagne with a light and wonderful key lime flavor, while the Blood Orange Mimosa, made with sparkling wine and blood orange juice, is perfect for people who don't love sweet drinks. Overall, these were a win for the second year in a row and landed on our Best of the Fest. Now this next one I personally re-added to the Best of the Fest. Belgium hasn't gotten a lot of love from our Best of the Fest list lately. It's just the same old most of the time. But today the beer braised beef really impressed me. Sometimes the meat is overdone, sometimes it's too salty. Not this year. This dish really delivered on flavor and quality. It's a solid savory dish that is good no matter how long it may have sat around, because our stuff sits around sometimes because we would take a lot of pictures of it. But this one held up, y'all. It was really good and surprised me a little bit because I expected to just kind of be like, okay, same old, but no. I was like, I want to sit here and spend some time with this beef and potato situation because it was just really good. I was very impressed. And it's time for the corned beef from Flavors from Fire to come back to our Best of the Fest list. Now, this booth is no longer sponsored by the NFL, so it doesn't have those weird subtitle names. This one used to be called the Corned Beef Corner Root, but it still has the same ingredients featured in previous years, and this has always been excellent, y'all. Order this, you'll get a plate full of smoked corned beef, which if you've never had corned beef, don't worry, you're gonna love this. With crispy potatoes, which are basically house-made potato chips, but they're not overdone, they still have a little bit of that chewiness to them. And then the cheese curds, the pickled onions, and that beer cheese fondue, which is absolutely heavenly. It's got a great balance of flavors between that salty beef, the cream cheese, the pickled onions, the chips. Of course, the cheese is the best part, but the flavors in the dish just go really well together, and it just has to be on this list. It's basically engraved. And if you thought we were done with cheese on this list, you thought wrong. Because back on Best of the Fest is the Schinken-Nudelen. Schinken-Nudelen? How do you want me to say it? People from Germany, please let me know. This is basically the mac and cheese at Germany. It's made with pasta gratin and ham, onions, and cheese. It's priced at just $5, and it's a super hearty portion size. It's very dense, it's rich, it's cheesy. It's a must-have for cheese fans. And honestly, the portion size is large enough, it could be your meal. It was a little undersalted this year for me. Now, I love a very salty mac and cheese, but it had a lot more flavor than the noodle gratin does over at Biergarten. So it's the same basic construct, it's just this one's got those onions and the ham in there to give that extra flavor. And remember, if you're working to complete EPCOT's cheese crawl, this is one of the qualifying items. And don't worry, I'll have details on that in just a second. But yeah, this Schinken-Nudelen is something that's going to please the whole family again. This is going to be a good one y'all can share. Now next we're headed to the India booth. This had a brand new menu this year, and it's the place to go to grab the amazing crispy paneer with mango curry ketchup. This fresh, soft, but dense paneer cheese is fried with the delicious breading that kind of reminds us of chicken nuggets. Is that bizarre? Okay, so think mozzarella stick, but the cheese isn't melty. Pair that mild cheese with mango curry ketchup for a flavorful, well-spiced, but not too spicy dish. Again, great opportunity if you have a less adventurous palate to be able to try something new that is reminiscent of something you already know and love. All right, we're going to Hops and Barley, of course, to talk about the freshly baked carrot cake with cream cheese icing, another returning favorite. Now, the icing here just melts off the sides as the cake is served very warm. The icing is warm as well. There are freshly grated carrots, perfectly balanced spices, and it really is one of my favorite desserts at any food and wine festival, any EPCOT festival I've ever been to. It's like the law that I have to get this every year. The cake is moist. You can really taste those carrot pieces and the nuts, and basically, we have no complaints about this one. Just bring some napkins because things can get a bit sticky with this one. Now, we have a new addition to our Best of the Fest video this year, the controversial Best of the Fest. There are a couple things that our team did not agree on. Some of the team loved them, and some of the team were like, you're wacky. You don't know what good tastes like. The first one is the beignet à trois fromages from France. Now, this is a warm beignet filled with a 3-cheese blend. A reporter who had this item this year said it was easily the best thing they had all day. It's a peppery cheese sauce that was very bechamel-like. She loved it, and the toasted cheese on top gave it a great texture, though it is heavy, so keep that in mind if you'll be eating it during the hotter months of the festival. But last year, 3 reporters were not fans, and 1 was absolutely in love with this, so it comes with a caveat that it may not be everyone's cup of tea or cup of cheese, as the case may be, but if you're a cheese fan, at least try it and see which camp you fall into. And another returning dish you can get at the festival this year is the griddled cheese with pistachios and honey from the Grease booth. This is a lovely mix of savory and sweet flavors to me, but several of our reporters really don't see the draw. They don't really like it. So again, if you're a cheese fan, go ahead and order this from the Grease booth when you get your spanakopita and let us know what you think. Okay, we've got more big booth prizes coming up, but don't forget, we've got a guidebook for EPCOT's Food and Wine Festival over at dfbstore.com if you want to become a festival pro in no time. If you're going to the festival this year, definitely you've got to pick this up. It comes with a full money-back guarantee, so if it doesn't work for you, we'll make it right. This year, we're also very excited to launch a DFB exclusive Food and Wine t-shirt. You can grab that or any of our other merchandise at merch.dfbstore.com. Those links are also in the description below this video. All your purchases help us to continue our comprehensive coverage of EPCOT's festivals and everything happening at Disney World and Disneyland. So thank you again for your support. Okay, so which booth is taking home the big prize this year, the Best of the Fest booth? Well, it's complicated this year. With just one new booth and so many returning fan favorite dishes, it was hard for us to just get one booth to stand out among the crowd. While we had some really amazing dishes at nearly every booth, there wasn't a single booth that nailed everything on the menu. Instead, we're awarding a four-way tie to some of our all-time favorite booths that had some dishes that we were really impressed with this year, or otherwise got overshadowed by those shiny new booths in the past few years. So here we go. First up, we're going to start with Canada. Sometimes returning items done well simply can't be beaten, and that was definitely the case this year. The Canadian cheddar cheese and bacon soup and wild mushroom beef filet mignon were on point and continue to garner long lines and well-warranted praise year after year. Even the drinks, the Collective Arts Audio-Visual Lager and the Chateau des Charmes Cabernet Merlot Estate, those are returning items, but for good reason. All of it is delicious. The only downside is that these dishes might be better suited to the cooler Canadian climate than a humid Florida summer when you have to eat this stuff outside. But if you're not looking for a sit-down meal and you want to try those Le Cellier iconic dishes you've heard me rave about on the channel before, this is your chance to do it for under 20 bucks. Now, I'm as shocked as the rest of you on this one, but we gotta stick Italy in this group this year. The Italy booth has been very hit or miss in the past on all festivals and has sometimes really disappointed us, but this year it was kind of different. That new gnocchi with mushrooms was incredible, and the gnocchi with vodka sauce and bacon was tasty too, though the vodka sauce wasn't as tangy as we'd hoped. The cheese had a fantastic richness and the bacon gave the pasta a nice smokiness. That's also a good one for your kids to enjoy. Now, the panna cotta had a great orange blossom flavor and was light and refreshing, didn't just taste like vanilla, but again, panna cotta to me, that's just milk jello, so it's not my favorite dessert, but it had a very pudding texture, so your kids might like this one as well. Now, pair that with the returning Italian margarita. Again, it's my favorite. I don't know why. I love it. I get it every year. And you've got a solid booth, so good job, Italy. Now, we're also going to add the returning flavors from Fire into this pile up. That smoked corned beef may be taking center stage, but flavors from Fire debuted two new dishes that are definitely worth a try. The banh mi bao with char-grilled Asian skirt steak, chicken liver aioli, pickled vegetables, and cilantro had a great blend of flavors, even if the topping ratio was a little skewed. And the only real downside to the Rocky Road chocolate cake with marshmallows, spiced almonds, and chocolate ganache was that it was on the smaller side, though it is very chocolatey. Great for those who love a rich dessert, and your kids are going to love it too. Now, our last sort of best of the fest booth in our set of four is Brew-wing. Now, this one opened earlier than expected. It wasn't supposed to open till August, but it opened today. Same thing it did last year. Interesting. But this year's menu has 5 different flavors of wings, 3 of which are new additions to the booth, plus the returning and slightly different crispy Brussels sprouts. Choose between garlic parm wings, traditional buffalo, sticky wings with peanut sauce and grape gel, sriracha lime wings, and dry rub jerk spice wings. All were tasty, and those PB&J wings are unique and delicious, though yeah, very sticky. Now, the Brussels sprouts were a bit of a letdown this year compared to last year, but the wings have definitely improved. If you're looking for some good eats, lots of adult beverage options, they've got ciders and beer here, plus some AC, because this one is located inside the Odyssey Center. You gotta stop by Brew-wing. Now, moving on to our most anticipated booth, we're gonna talk about the fry basket. So this spot is designated for the booth that was the most anticipated, but perhaps didn't exactly wow us enough to land a spot on the best booths list. This is the only new booth at the Food and Wine Festival this year, which is kind of unprecedented. Now, the adobo yuca fries, as we said, are not to be missed, and the fry flight was fun, but had some high and low points. The salt and vinegar fries were a little lacking in flavor, and the barbecued bacon fries tasted a lot like a barbecued chip, so that may be good or bad for you. And the sweet potato fries were really tasty, but the fries themselves got really soggy. The booth also featured a key lime lager, very tasty, and a salty Dog cocktail, very vodka forward. Overall, we thought that the fry flight was disappointing in some ways, but definitely a fun addition, and the yuca fries were totally a hit. The drinks were pretty good too, so overall the booth is one that we think many could enjoy. And while I've been adding little notes about what's going to be good and bad for your kids throughout this video, we do have a best for kids section, and the ones that rose to the top of this section this year were the apple strudel with vanilla sauce from Germany. Now, in the past, this has been a bit smaller in terms of portion size, but still has been a favorite. This year it was once again a great choice, but had a bigger portion size, which we really liked, and it really stood out to us as a great choice for kids. The flavors are simple enough to please picky kiddos, plus when mixed with vanilla sauce, yes, that's vanilla sauce and not mayo, it just comes out of a little squeeze bottle, so it kind of looks like mayo. It makes for a very tasty experience. And the Belgian waffle with warm chocolate ganache at Belgium, that one's going to be simple and satisfying. It's a Belgian waffle with whipped cream and basically chocolate sauce. Who's not going to love that? The waffle was nice and soft, really tender, not overcooked at all, and the whipped cream and the chocolate sauce melted quickly, but it could still be a great choice for little ones wanting a sweet treat. And the portion size isn't huge too, so they'll be fine. Now, we've got a few festival tips for you. While there are definitely plenty of things to eat, keep in mind that there are 4 booths at the festival that won't open until August 15th, at least as far as we know. They may open a little bit early, but we'll be keeping an eye on that for you. They're Coastal Eats, Hawaii, Mackin Eats, and the Noodle Exchange. Now, Brew-wing was also on this list, as I said, but it opened early. Also note that Disney is still dealing with ingredient shortages and technical difficulties. We expect things to go not quite smoothly on opening day of Epcot festivals, and this year threw some curveballs. The fry basket straight up ran out of fries, and the grease booth had major opening delays, like I said. This is your PSA to be prepared for things to be unavailable for one reason or another, and that's a good general tip for Disney World as a whole right now. If you got the time, you may want to plan 2 days to hit the festival so that you can see, do, and try everything you want without having to cram it all into a single day. Now, there are other festival activities going on as well. Yep, Party for the Senses, food demos, Parisian breakfast, etc. have still not returned. Hopefully that festival center construction update means we'll be seeing them back next year, but for now, there is still plenty of extra stuff at the festival to enjoy. You got Eat to the Beat concerts happening nightly. You can catch Boys to Men, Tiffany, Joey Fatone, Baha Men, Hanson, many other bands that our younger viewers have never heard of before. And Remy's Ratatouille Hide and Squeak Scavenger Hunt is back. This one tasks you with the mission to find Chef Remy all throughout Epcot. The official map costs $9.99, but you do get a prize, a cup with your choice of one of 4 Disney characters on it, once you complete the scavenger hunt, or you can get it early. It doesn't matter, you paid for it already. And there will also be a Halloween themed scavenger hunt coming later during the festival. Emil's Fromage Montage is basically a food scavenger hunt where you purchase 5 of 10 cheesy dishes from the food booths in order to earn a special completer prize from Shimmering Sips. Now that prize is the same as last year, a strawberry cheesecake soft serve with a small piece of cheesecake on top, dessert cheese. And there are plenty of festival exclusive merchandise options to be had this year, including Spirit jerseys, magic bands, full Figment themed collections, Tiana teas, and a whole Tiana kitchen collection. So if you need a sifter, you can get one of those. Hats, ears, loads of pins, cutting boards, plates, aprons, and a Food and Wine Dooney and Burke collection of bags. In other words, plan some time to go shopping. And prepare for that heat. Some of this food is kind of heavy, and I don't blame you if a piping hot bowl of cheddar cheese soup doesn't sound amazing when it's 115 degrees and you're dripping sweat the second you enter the park. Even if you're not noshing on some of the heartier options from the festival, you're still going to want to plan ahead. Stay hydrated. Don't forget the sunblock. Seek out the AC throughout the day. Bring a cooling towel. I'm not kidding. I don't care how silly you think you look, just bring it and take those breaks. Embrace the traditional Epcot festival table if you have to. We always recommend bringing a tray. Yes, like a cafeteria lunch tray. I personally ordered a small cafeteria tray from Instacart from a restaurant supply store, and it cost me like $2, and it was perfect. And that can help you carry all your food and serves as a clean surface if you can't find a table and need to resort to the festival classic of dining atop a trash can. Also, stick around after dark to see Spaceship Earth's new light show to the tune of Be Our Guest. Alright, that does it for part 1 of this year's Epcot Food and Wine Festival. Thanks for coming along for the ride. We'll be back in August to cover those remaining booths, and of course, we've got even more comprehensive coverage over at DisneyFoodblog.com and in our guidebook at DFBstore.com. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.